All right, we've got a couple of new pieces here today. As you know, I've just got back from Switzerland for Watches and Wonders 2025. It was great to catch up with a whole bunch of my old colleagues and friends, and geek out over watches. Had a couple of really cool meetings, and one thing I was really impressed by was the opportunity to sit down with the guys from Bomberg. Now, we used to do Bomberg a few years ago, and I think since then, it certainly has grown up. I really am quite impressed with the quality. So this here is the Bomberg Bolt 68 Racing. Bomberg are a Swiss watch brand. They were born in Neuchâtel. They do obviously get a lot of their parts out of Asia, but they're a Swiss movement, sapphire crystal assembly in Switzerland. For all intents and purposes, they're a really great, fun brand. I'm really impressed by the quality of the piece now. It certainly has come a long way since the first, we dealt with it about 8 years ago now. It still has that very cool ability to change over to a pocket watch by sliding that piece out there. But they've improved that system, so it's actually almost has like a dual lock, and you've got arrow indication to line up from to the red. Obviously mean that is your stop point, and 1, 2, 3 back in, which is quite cool, indicated by green. They're a quartz movement, which sometimes it's just nice to just pick a watch up, throw it on your wrist and enjoy it. And I think that's what this brand, especially in the new Bomberg Bolt 68 Racing, does. It is a 45mm case, I'm pretty sure. Really nice supple rubber strap. You've got the 1/10 of a chrono on this one. They've improved the design here with the pushers and the lever. So you basically here you've got your start stop. That's your 1/10 of a second going there. Once that main central chronograph hand gets around to 6, i.e. 30 seconds, the 1/10 of a second will actually go into a dormant phase, and you'll see that in the next 15 seconds. That should probably stop. Then, of course, you have your minute counter for the chrono, and this over here is small seconds for your regular time. So you can see it's now up to 25 seconds in the chronograph. And once it gets around to 6 or 30 seconds, the 1/10 of a second stops. And then that's purely just a battery saving function. And then what we do is when we stop the chrono, it'll catch up to where it should be when it's working in the background, and then reset, which is really quite nice. They are a fun watch. Really pleased with the level of quality they've managed to go on this one. It wears really nice. I am actually quite a fan of this design. I'm a motorsport fan. I like cars, everything mechanical, so it really sits well in my universe. And there's about 15 different designs and colors. This is obviously the blue and orange. You can have white, you can have carbon dials, blacks, all sorts of crazy stuff. We're not going to really talk about any of the skulls. I think it's sort of maybe had its day, but I just, has a fun watch. At 20, it's going to be like 2,300, 2,400, depending on the exchange rate. This is a hell of a watch for that sort of price. So I'm really happy. So I'm looking forward to, getting these guys back on board. The other one, which is a new release from them, a new part of their brand, is the Apex range. And it's quite nice. I still prefer the Bolt 68 because that gives it a point of difference, but this is a hell of a lot of watch. You've got a waffle dial, you've got that same 1/10 of a chrono system that you've got in the Bolts, except it's just inverted, stop and then reset. There's a lot of detail to the case, a lot of detail to that dial, which is absolutely stunning. It's a nice integrated rubber strap. These are interchangeable, so you can just flick them off and put on the bracelet. I think the bracelet is going to be the better choice out of this range, and I know that that's sort of what we're going to be focusing on, is just the bracelet versions, and then just chuck a strap in for shits and giggles. But again, it's got presence. It's just a great watch, and these are going to be sub 2K or 2,000 Aussie, right? So these are I think these are a really nice offering. A lot of presence, nice design, a little bit unique, not too crazy. I just think that this is just a banging watch. They come in a really nice, a nice case with a travel case, and for like I said, for 1,950, I think these are going to come in at. It's just it's a good looking watch. These also come in a bunch of colors, blacks, whites, reds, and I do believe there's also a blue DLC case, which I'm not a huge fan of, but these are the two pieces that I brought back from Switzerland, so obviously it sort of ticks the box for me. So these are the Bombergs. We've got more pieces coming in hopefully quite soon. Bomberg Bolt 68 here at 2,300, and the Bomberg Apex at 1,950. There we go. Let me know what you think, whether you're a Bolt 68 guy or an Apex guy. I don't know. I think for that sort of price you can have both. Enjoy.